Friends, this creep right here, David with a number 4, Burke,
Mm-hmm.
has
You're not that cool, David.
finally.
It's time to drop it.
You're just not. I'm not going to say that. You're just David Burke,
Mm-hmm.
accused murderer. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we have been waiting and waiting and waiting for this arrest. He has been arrested for the murder of this sweet little girl right here, Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Yeah.
And things are moving very quickly in this case. So I have a lot to share with you about it. First of all, let's watch David get arrested because that's going to make me feel really good. You can hear him yelling with the bullhorn to open the door. There's all the police. Like, they came ready for a fight when they arrested him. We're just watching the cops get ready, I guess, here. Getting prepped. Bust on in. Look at how many. Like, they came armed.
They really
came
did.
ready to rock.
They came ready for something.
Yeah. They expected resistance, which they really didn't get. But they were prepped.
Wow.
This is taking forever. Oh, we're almost done. I was like, this video is short. Why is this taking so long? Well, I'll tell you about the DA here in a minute. Here they are. Here he is in the white pants, marching him out. Thanks to the California Post on the video. There we go. There's just a repeat of him. Arrested. So we're going to get more in depth into what they have on him, but I think one of the best ways to do that is simply to play the press conference that they had today. Now, there's a lot of that good job, way to go, rah us stuff, but there's also some information. So here is the presser that happened earlier today.
Everybody, we are going to give you an update on this case here in just a minute. Just to give you an idea of what's going to happen here. We've got the Los Angeles County District Attorney, Nathan Hochman, and the Chief of Police, Jim McDonald, coming up, and they will be speaking to you. I will ask you when we get to any questions. There's only going to be time for just a few brief questions, so this isn't going to be a long Q&A afterwards. I'm going to ask you if you could do one at a time as much as possible so that we can hear the question, process it, and answer it appropriately. District Attorney Nathan Hochman.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Hochman. I'm the District Attorney of Los Angeles County. With me up here is Los Angeles Police Department Chief Jim McDonald. Also at this podium on the DA's side are the Assistant District Attorney Maria Ramirez, who oversees our special operations. We have John McKinney, who is our Director of Specialized Prosecutions. The Assistant Head Deputy District Attorney is Habib Balian of the Major Crimes Division. Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman of the Major Crimes Division will be the lead prosecutor on this case. From the Los Angeles Police Department, we also have Captain Scott Williams, who's the commanding officer of LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division, the Chief of Detectives, Alan Hamilton, the Director of Specialized Prosecutions, Mike Rimkunis, and the LAPD detectives on this case, Josh Byers and Corey Farrell. Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled D4vd, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring: that is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. The determination on whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time. Before I get into the actual charges, and there are additional charges against Mr. Burke, including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts with an individual under 14 years old, and mutilating a human remains of a body. Before I get into the description of these charges and their seriousness, I want to look at this as a parent. I am a parent of 3 children, and a parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back. As we will show in a court of law, and what I also want to make sure about that the understanding of these charges is clear, is my description of these charges is not evidence that we are going to present in court. These charges, in fact, will not be evidence in the court. Evidence will be the witness testimony, the documents, and different types of admissible testimony that we will admit into court in the prosecution, and if it leads to the eventual trial of Mr. Burke, to convince a jury of 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that each and every one of these charges is true, as well as the special allegations and circumstances that have been alleged. Now, back to this being a parent's nightmare. On April 23, 2025, as been alleged by the complaint, Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again. On September 8, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, Miss Celeste's remains, her dismembered and decomposed remains, were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke. Thereafter began an investigation. The investigation was to determine who killed, who murdered Celeste months and months before. That investigation was carried out in unison and in partnership between the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and the District Attorney's Office. At every point in the investigation, through the arrest and the filing of charges, the LAPD and the District Attorney's Office have worked in lockstep. There's been no disagreements amongst these entities in deciding how to proceed with this case, ultimately leading to these charges today. So what you have as well with these charges is that, again, there are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances, and again, those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night. The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste. And the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years old. I had the chance to meet with some of the family members of Celeste, and their grief is uncalculable as to what happened to their daughter. What they have demanded, what we have assured them that the district attorney's office working with LAPD would give them is the idea, is the proof beyond a reasonable doubt on who killed their daughter, on how their daughter was killed, when their daughter was killed, and bring that killer to justice. That killer that we have now charged is David Anthony Burke. We will have questions after I speak and Chief McDonald speaks. At this point, I invite Chief McDonald to speak.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I want to begin by expressing my deepest condolences to the parents of Celeste Rivas. No parent or any human being should have to endure what you've gone through. Today, alongside DA Hochman and our partners at the LA County District Attorney's Office, and thanks to the tireless and hard work of our investigators at the LAPD, we're announcing the arrest and prosecution of David Burke for the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas. Throughout the 7-month investigation, this department has faced criticism for how we handled the case and for our decision not to provide details. I want to be clear about something. My duty is not to fuel speculation, it's to deliver justice, and that requires patience and discipline on everybody's part. This investigation was driven by a single purpose: to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. We had to be certain that nothing we did or said would ever jeopardize this case. Ms. Rivas was a reported runaway from Riverside County. During the course of our investigation, detectives learned that she had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult. On April 23, 2025, Ms. Rivas arrived at Mr. Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills. That's the last time she was known to be alive. On September 8, 2025, Ms. Rivas's dismembered and badly decomposed body was discovered in the front trunk of Mr. Burke's impounded Tesla. From that moment forward, our investigators faced an extraordinarily difficult and complex case. The condition of her remains delayed the medical examiner's ability to be able to determine cause of death. The substantial amount of time that passed between her death and the discovery meant that crucial evidence had degraded or disappeared. And as detectives worked to uncover the truth, they also had to sift through and debunk a great deal of false information circulating publicly. These challenges were real, and they required patience, precision, and an unwavering commitment to the facts. Despite these obstacles, and despite intense public pressure, our Robbery Homicide Division detectives remained steadfast in their duties. They recovered and analyzed a substantial amount of digital and forensic evidence. They stayed focused, disciplined, and committed to uncovering the truth. Their work, in close collaboration with the District Attorney's Office, has brought us to this moment today. I want to thank the District Attorney and his team, as always, for their partnership. This case demanded coordination, persistence, and a shared commitment to justice. Also, thank you to our media partners for showing up today and for sharing this important message with the public. And finally, to Ms. Rivas's family, we cannot undo the pain you are feeling. Our hope is that today brings some measure of accountability and a step in the journey toward healing. Please know that the Los Angeles Police Department remains fully committed to seeking justice on behalf of your daughter. Thank you.
So at this point, we'll take questions.
Anything more you can tell us about the fact that she was a witness in the pending investigation, that she reported the abuse, when was doing anything?
The details of the allegations that have made, particularly with that special circumstance, will be produced in court.
Did you determine the cause of death and the difficulty was to determine both the manner, cause, and date?
So with respect to the coroner's report, we will be seeking quite quickly to provide an order to the court that now allows the coroner to release that report to the public.
Do you
So
believe that he
I'm
acted
from the BBC between the finding of the body of Celeste's body or her remains? Why has it taken so long for an arrest to be made?
I think the police chief got it right, that in a situation where you don't have an eyewitness account, or we can't point to a video that shows the killer killing someone, you have to go through the very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses, often who are cooperative and some who are not cooperative, in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time. That is what we've been doing over the last, between September 8th, roughly, and today when we bring these charges on April 20th. So again, it's a type of case that you want to make sure you get maximum information. And by the way, if there's anyone out there that has material information about this particular murder or any other actions taken by Mr. Burke, please come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department, come forward to the LA County DA's office, and report that information.
People were aware of this relationship. Is it possible that you will be arresting other people within his circle? And did he act alone in this death?
Again, with respect to whether or not there's any other individuals or we're going to take any other actions, you will know about them if we do, but at this point, I'm not commenting.
Do you believe that you know how she was killed beyond it being homicide? The actual cause of death?
The coroner's report will be released shortly. Because it is not currently released, I'm not going to be commenting.
But was it determined, not that, if you won't say what it was, but has it been determined how she was killed beyond it being homicide?
The coroner has made a determination on how Celeste died, and at the point that the coroner's report becomes public, we'll be able to comment on it.
Was there a specific breakthrough last week? Is there physical evidence that ties David to this murder?
There is physical evidence and there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
Only a couple more questions.
Yes.
Your investigation, and just to his question, are you able to tell us exactly what the smoking gun is? And also, if you can address the issue of his visit to Santa Barbara, and that, how does it connect with the murder?
So with respect to the actual details of the evidence we're going to be presenting in court, I'm not going to do that today. As far as the concept of a smoking gun, the smoking gun is the totality of the evidence that we're going to bring to prove any case, whether it's this case or any case, beyond a reasonable doubt. An investigation is ongoing. If information comes forward on with respect to any additional crimes, we will certainly investigate it. Yes.
One more. There's been so much discussion about the difficulties in this case. The chief talked about it as well. What makes you confident you can prove these allegations?
What makes us confident is the totality of the evidence that has been obtained by the LAPD robbery homicide, by the work that the district attorney's office has done, that has led us to the point where we believe we can prove each and every one of these three charges and the special circumstances and the special allegation beyond a reasonable doubt.
Thank you, everybody. If you raise your hand if you have Spanish language and you need a Spanish language translation. Okay, keep your hands up. My team will come around to you and we will have someone to hand you.
Josh,
Thank you very, very much.
All right. So let's get into this. So you all in the chat have a lot of questions. Just we're getting there. Don't worry. Let me give you the rundown.
It's emotionally
okay?
charged. This is a very frustrating, sad, horrifying case.
It is.
We get it.
The first thing you need to know is that they have, for the last 4 months, had an investigative grand jury impaneled putting this case together with them. So that's not necessarily the kind of grand jury that indicts. It is the kind of grand jury that helps with investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Helps with what kind of things they want to subpoena and gathering the evidence and reviewing the evidence and what would a jury want to see, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where also one of the reasons this has taken so long is because they've been waiting on the autopsy results, and the autopsy has been very complicated because her remains were severely decomposed and dismembered. Remember, her body was found in the front trunk of a Tesla, an abandoned Tesla.
Yeah.
That was impounded, and the folks that impounded the Tesla opened that front trunk, as you can imagine why, and discovered her remains. So let me give you kind of a rundown of this. So we know that Celeste started having some contact with David Burke sometime around age 11. They met on Roblox. They were gaming friends, and one of the things that her parents had said is that he was older. He was, he created TikTok fame for himself as a singer, and then really kind of took off. And his parents initially felt like he was interested in her in a positive way, and didn't see this as the kind of grooming that it was. And so the contact had been going on for quite some time. He is 7 years older than Celeste.
Yeah.
So the reason for the lewd and lascivious contact with someone under the age of 14 is that once he turned 18 and she was 13.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's an enhancement for lewd and lascivious conduct with someone under that age. He is now 21. She was 14 when they believed that she was killed. So she's from Lake Elsinore, California. And multiple times in early 2024, she was reported missing by her family. I know there's a lot of rumors that her parents and family didn't do anything. It is not true. They had been reporting to law enforcement, and she would come home for a while. She would run off again. They were definitely having problems with Celeste.
Yeah. Well, come on. This kid that was getting famous or getting popular, he had all this interest in her.
Right. He has money. He, I mean, it's
young
exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you can't
She's
blame
in
her.
some of his music videos. Like So they think that the last time that she ran away, excuse me, which was in April of 2025, which is when they never see her again.
Yeah.
If you remember, he has this song called Romantic Homicide that is like one of his big songs. That's weird.
Which is
creepy.
Right? Yeah.
Super weird and creepy. So on April 23rd of 2025, police believe that is the critical date. They think that she went to his home that day. It's not the first time she'd been there. She'd been there many times. They say it is the last confirmed evidence placing her alive. She was never seen again after that. Her autopsy has not been released because it was sealed specifically by the LA County DA's office, because they had impaneled this grand jury. They didn't want any of the evidence that they were putting before this grand jury getting out, because guess who didn't know that this grand jury investigation was happening? David Burke. That's how grand juries work. They're secret. His defense is real pissed about that, but I mean, we've seen this before. We know how these things work.
Yeah.
Just in the last few days, they have released that the medical examiner has determined that her death was a homicide and that she was killed that day, April 23rd, with a sharp instrument. Prosecutors also allege that between April 23rd and 24th of 2025, her body was dismembered, placed in bags, and hidden in the front trunk, or the frunk as it's known, in Burke's Tesla. So, of course, that is the basis for the mutilation and concealment charges against him. So, for summer of 2025, the Tesla is abandoned. Just sitting on a street, abandoned. This is the weirdest way to dispose of a body I've ever seen in my life, frankly.
See, that would never happen here. Because when the snow fell,
that car would get moved.
Yeah.
Well, it eventually does get towed.
Yeah.
But at this point, they think that her body was in the car for months. So on September 8th of 2025, the people who tow the car notice an odor. They call the LAPD, who opened the trunk, and they find decomposed human remains.
Yeah.
Eventually, those remains are identified as Celeste. Between September and October of 2025, it was believed that this body was Celeste as soon as they determined that this car belonged to David Burke, but they had to go through the forensic identification, and that can be really challenging with decomposed remains.
Mm-hmm.
They did finally use DNA and forensic identification to determine this was Celeste, and the family was officially notified. And that's when they began their full homicide reconstruction and investigation into this death. It was in November of 2025 that David becomes a formal suspect. And that we talked about it when it happened, that media were confirming that he is now considered a suspect. And there were search warrants and digital evidence collection started happening. They focused on vehicle data, phones, surveillance, and movement records. We've seen, like in every case, with the way that the digital information is so key these days. On November 21st of 2025, the LAPD obtained a court order blocking release of the medical examiner's file. So the case was sealed. Even cause and manner of death were withheld from public release. That is because they impaneled this secret grand jury that began hearing evidence in Los Angeles. They subpoenaed lots of witnesses, including people close to David Burke. The grand jury was investigative. So it's not immediately an indicting grand jury, it's investigative.
Mm-hmm.
They are feeling this investigation out, getting more information together. They wanted all their ducks in a row before this became public. That's just the key. It was really, really important to remember that sometimes these investigations really do happen in secret because they want to make sure they've got everything before they go public. We've seen that happen in other cases.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So the prosecution has, they delayed their arrest for months. And as soon as he was identified as a suspect, I think that everybody who's been following this case was like, well, if he's a suspect, why the hell is he not arrested? Well, that's why. They wanted forensic certainty, witness testimony, and digital timeline evidence. They wanted to know exactly what happened and when.
Well, and it sounds like they have an enormous amount of discovery.
It's 40 terabytes. And friends, when you hear the prosecutor say it, you will realize that Voluminous has already entered this case. I'm sorry, but you know how I feel about the Voluminous virus that has traveled across state lines multiple times. We started hearing it first in the Lori Vallow Daybell murder trial in Idaho, and it has been spreading, but 40 terabytes.
Holy moly.
You're going to die when you see this pleading hearing today, you guys. Really, this is going to be a battle. It's going to be good. Burke was arrested on April 16th and booked without bail. Of course, there was an immediate public statement from his defense attorneys denying any responsibility. The usual stuff.
Yeah.
And then the medical examiner, right after they arrested him, publicly, formally ruled that her death is, in fact, a homicide, because it hadn't even been released that her death was a homicide. I mean, we obviously know it was, but that's really important. We need these things for the trial.
Yeah.
But the full autopsy remains sealed, but not for long. So today, formal criminal charges were filed. First-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, lewd acts with a minor, and mutilation and concealment of remains. Special circumstances are added for killing a witness. She was a witness to her own sexual abuse. Lying in wait. I don't know exactly what they're using for that. Also financial gain, which was to protect his career, because of course he's this rising music star with, Romantic Homicide is his famous song. Holy shit. So he was arraigned today And I'm going to show you the arraignment because, well, this is going to be something. Watch this.
David Anthony Burke, that's case number 26 CJC F02399.
Good morning or good afternoon, Your Honor. Blair Burke, Marilyn Bednarski, and Regina Peter on behalf of our client, David Burke, who's in custody.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Mr. Burke.
Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman for the people, Your Honor.
Thank you. And counsel, on behalf of your client, do you waive formal reading of the complaint, advisement of rights, including armed forces and veterans' rights, enter a plea of not guilty, denying any and all special allegations, enhancements, and priors?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're requesting a preliminary hearing within the period?
Yes, Your Honor. From the media reports, apparently there have been 4 months of secret grand jury proceedings. We believe that Mr. Burke is entitled at the earliest opportunity to an open preliminary hearing and the proceedings not be done in secret. So we are asking for a preliminary hearing to be set at the earliest possible date on the 10th day. Your Honor, we believe the actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death. And we would like to be able to have the evidence come into the light of day at the earliest opportunity in order to establish that. We're asking for April 23rd as a 3 of 10, Your Honor.
Anything from the people?
We'll be very happy to put on the evidence that we've collected in this case in the last several months.
Yeah. Catch the hair toss. Beth, Prosecutor Beth, she's got no concerns at all. They are asking for a preliminary hearing in 10 days, you guys.
Wow.
Which is technically his right, but very rarely does anybody do that because how is the defense prepped for anything? But this, like look at this. She's having her own Clairol moment. Yeah. She was like, oh, we would be happy to present the evidence that we have, Your Honor. So now listen to the rest of this. But this was just so great. So great.
What a baddie.
So the matter will be set, plea of not guilty has been entered on behalf of Mr. Burke. The matter will be set in Department 105. The matter is ordered assigned to Judge Charlene Almeida in Department 105 for all purposes by the Judge of the Supervising Judge of Criminal.
Yes, Your Honor. If I may just put on the record, we have, as soon as the people arrive, delivered a informal discovery request consistent with Penal Code Section 1054. We have been given almost no discovery thus far. We've received a 3-page follow-up report, no autopsy report, and a copy of the complaint. And we would ask the people respectfully to produce discovery at the earliest opportunity.
I mean, David's been in jail for, 15 minutes, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And they're already, we know how the defense rolls in these cases. They're always bitching about discovery, but you guys, they don't have any discovery yet. I was like, Jesus Christ. Okay. That's fast. That's very fast. But I'll tell you what, this is going to be the battle of the brunettes. These two women are formidable, and they have both been involved in a lot of famous cases in the LA area for sure. But man, they are locking horns already.
There's approximately 40 terabytes of discovery in this case. Moreover, in order to obtain the transcripts from a grand jury investigation, counsel has to file a motion. She knows the way the system works. I'm not able to gather those. They have to be provided after the court orders them released because it was an investigation. Second of all, if counsel plans on going to a preliminary hearing within the 10 days, it is unlikely that there will be very much discovery provided within that period, given the voluminous nature and how long it's going to take to copy onto drives.
Voluminous.
In addition to that, the coroner's report was sealed in this case in order to prevent it from hampering truthful testimony from witnesses that testified at the grand jury, so an order will also have to be obtained in order to get the coroner's department, which is now the medical examiner's department, to release those materials.
Your Honor, it's surprising news given the District Attorney's Office held a press conference this morning where they discussed the cause of death, apparently under seal and not released by the coroner's office, as did the robbery homicide unit to the press. So we would again reiterate, we believe that Mr. Burke is entitled to discovery. We have served the people with notice. They have 15 days to produce discovery in this case. We would ask that they do that in conscientious earnestness and as quickly as possible.
I'd ask the court to make an order today. We'll take a copy of the minute order ordering the Department of Medical Examiner to release their coroner's report in this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The court will order that the medical examiner release the report in this case forthwith.
Thank you.
The matter is set in Department 105, as the court indicated, April 23rd, 2026, as a 3 of 10 prelim. Anything further?
No, not at this time.
Bail to stand at no bail. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, wow. Yeah, of course he's entitled to discovery. Well, but also, like the prosecutor says, those grand jury transcripts can only be ordered by the judge. And hello, it can take quite some time to get them, as we well know and have seen many times. This is going to be something. I'm excited. This is going directly on our calendar for the Trials channel, because this is going to be very interesting, and to see how quickly all of this will move. You know, I mean, this seems like the kind of case that they're not going to waive speedy trial. You know, like the defense is not messing around, but neither is the prosecutor. I will never get over that hair toss ever. That was the best thing I've seen in a really long time. So this is going to be very interesting, but they have a huge amount of evidence and we don't know what it is because it's been secret grand jury, right? So yes, with Nicole Kidman playing the judge, I know.
Right, the judge
I don't think
gorgeous.
Continues as the judge. I think she was the arraignment judge, but
yeah,
I don't think that's who he's going to land with long term. David, you know, we'll see if David takes a plea. I don't know. He's an arrogant little shithead. His behavior and the behavior of his attorneys are indicating that right up front. So we shall see, but they're not interested in giving him bail. That is for sure. Not at this point anyway. And I mean, generally with first degree murder, you don't get bail. So let's hope that we don't see that. He needs to stay right where he is. So we will continue to follow this, but a whole lot has happened in just a couple of days. And a whole lot more is about to happen. So we'll see what happens on the hearing on 423. I'll get the deets on that and get that up over on the Trials channel so that we can see where they're going to go from here. But just as a reminder, this is all about this young girl, a child, who was groomed and murdered.
And sexually assaulted.
Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Yeah.
Terrible. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know the name of the song probably they probably won't be allowed to put that against him in court, but it really reminds me a little bit of remember our old friend Nancy Brophy?
Oh, yes.
This was the romance author who wrote an essay called How to Murder Your Husband, and then 10 years later murdered her husband.
Yeah.
And they did allow that into court. They did go against old Nancy, who was convicted of her husband's murder.
We'll see. This is a badass prosecutor. You never know. They might get that in.
Maybe so. Wow.
We shall see. But Katie, wrapping us up today, you have some WTF news.